that after a year, that intro never stopped making me laugh. Ever.
Welcome to Family Home Evening.
With Bad Mormons.
When we were deciding to make this podcast a year ago, we were browsing through Audio Jungle trying to find a catchy, snappy intro. And Charlotte kept laughing at this one every time I played it. And I was like, really? Do you want to hear that
like,
for the
yes.
rest of your life?
Yes, I do. And you know what? Turns out we picked a winner.
She was right. I was wrong.
I'm the smartest.
I'm the dumbest.
I'm the best looking.
I'm not very attractive. Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
It's a very special episode. We need a better cheers than that.
Yeah, we do.
I didn't hear the ding I wanted.
Ding.
There we go. Watch the glasses shatter.
Don't waste the Papillon.
Oh, God, there's not much better wine out there.
Papillon by
God, it's so
Warren
good.
Swift.
Warren Swift. Papillon. I think it's a cab or a blend.
It's a blend. It says red wine, so.
God damn it, it's good.
It is a thing of beauty.
We opened a special bottle. It might very well be my favorite bottle. Well, no, Silver Oak's my favorite bottle. It might be my second favorite bottle.
Yeah.
Because it's a very special day today.
It sure is. We hit a milestone.
Big milestone.
100,000 listens. Thanks, dudes. Thank you for listening to us ramble on about bullshit when we should be, repenting. I got nothing.
Or thinking about work. Making money somehow. Bettering our lives.
Listen, one of these days, we're going to be rich. And we won't have to work anymore. And it's going to be awesome.
And then you can get a podcast every day. Could you imagine?
My liver hurts.
Good job, Charlotte. Sticking to a podcast for 1 year.
To be fair, it was you entirely. I'd come home from work, I'd be like, I want to go to bed. You're like, no! Drink this whiskey! Get on the podcast!
Be funny! Dance, monkey!
And then I danced, and I danced.
The people want to hear you be funny.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing we're pretty funny. I mean, I think, even if nobody else thinks we're funny, I think I'm fucking hilarious. So I've got that going for me.
Our dad is really funny, and I think that's where we get it from.
Well, as I like to point out in the internets, says like, oh, did you grow up in a loving household? Or did you grow up in a functional household, or are you funny? Or something like that. It's like, were you abused as a child, or are you funny? Or, what opposite of that.
To clarify, we were not abused
no, we
as
were
children.
not. Well, I mean, depends.
For the most part.
For the most part. Depends on what household we were in. No, but yeah, it's just like, oh, did you have a rough upbringing? Are you funny? Yeah, that's probably why.
I had to drive to San Diego for work today with two of my coworkers we're all a fairly new group together, fairly new dynamic. And so we were getting to know each other, chatting in the car on the way down, on the way back up. We pulled into the store over by where Mom's old house used to be.
In Westminster?
No. In
Laguna
Niguel.
Okay,
the
yeah.
Kite Hill house. And I very casually, I think I've been doing this podcast too long, because I very casually off the cuff was like, oh yeah, that's where my mom used to live up there. She actually had 2 houses up there. And they were like, because they were pointing them out, they're like, that's $1 million, that's $2 million. And I was like, she had 2 houses up there? And I was like, yeah, the guy she was married to was stealing somehow, and he got all this money, and then they got divorced, and he kept one or sold one, and she ended up dating the neighbor across the street. She ended up giving it to him. Well, she didn't really give it to him. He promised her a house in Mexico and instead dropped her off at the border and stole her house. And and I said it just like that, and they're both just looking at me like, is this a joke? Should I laugh? Kind of a thing.
Like, oh no, it's real life. And you should laugh at it, because it's so sad, it's funny.
Yeah. And then I was like, maybe that was too much too soon. And then I was like, oh, it's fine. We can go up there and say hi to him if you want. And they're like, no, let's not do that. I don't know. Basically, I can't tell if you're serious. The tone was like, should I be scared? We're almost there so I can get out of this car. And I was like, well,
it turns out.
There you go.
No, while I was in Mexico, I was sitting with a group of hairstylists and hair color company people, and I don't know why I always feel the need to tell people my stories of the ridiculousness, and I think it's funny, and then they look at me like it's really sad. I'm like, oh yeah, no, we had 2 houses, my stepdad was stealing,
Oh, we kind of glossed over our intro, just in case anyone's wondering why you're here.
This is why you're here.
This is a podcast.
We like to talk about our childhood or times that we did a lot of drugs and maybe shouldn't be alive.
We think after, this is episode 54 now, I believe.
Yep.
Season Infinity, episode 54. I think we've figured out the perfect blend of just drunk enough and not too drunk to be able to still
articulate and not be too stuffy.
Not fall asleep at the mic.
Listen, some of these, by the way, there is a drinking game. You might want to go back to episode fill in the blank. We have key words that if we say them, you have to drink or finish your drink or take a shot.
You can pretty much make up your own rules at this point, but if you hear the words listen...
100%.
No, 1,000%.
I think either one. If we're going to say a percentage in there, 95% sure you should take a drink.
Exactly. That's another one. Right.
There's
so
others.
You guys have fun. And
try not black out.
We're going to drink along with you.
Yeah,
as we record this podcast for you this evening.
You're welcome.
So, cheers.
Cheers.
Shout out to the patrons.
Thanks, patrons.
The bread and butter, the life's blood of the podcast. We say it every time, and we mean it even more every week we say it.
It's one of our patrons' birthdays today. Happy birthday, Deborah.
Happy birthday to you.
I'm not singing.
I was going to do that. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday, the best HR manager in history. Maybe that one will stick. I don't know.
No, it's great. Because she was the best HR manager in history.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going up to talk to her because I was pretty sure that somebody else was going to go to her first. And I needed to nip something in the bud. It may have been one of my boyfriends cheating on me, and I didn't threaten his new girlfriend. I just put something in her mailbox. So I had to go be like, so Deborah, did you hear what happened with me and Jason? She's like, no, tell me everything. So I gave her the long story. And I was like, he was trying to get back together with me and he wrote me this letter and I thought he was a piece of shit. So I put it in his new girlfriend's mailbox so she could see the kind of guy she was dating. And she apparently told Joey that she was going to come see you. So I just thought I'd get to you first. And she's like, don't worry about it. But also don't talk to her and don't put anything else in her mailbox. I'm like, thanks, Deborah. Fight that bitch.
Yeah. Deborah's so great.
Deborah is the greatest.
I love her so much.
I like to think that when I've been not downtrodden, but like I ruined those two people's careers at the co-op, and I love that. I was like, oh, you're going to cheat on me? Mm-mm. Good luck working in this grocery store.
Yeah, it turns out that's not really what happened. But
the way I like to think about it.
Charlotte's a legend in her own mind.
Do either of them work there anymore? No.
Break my heart. I'll squeeze your soul dry.
I almost didn't move out of Bellingham just so that the ex-boyfriends couldn't come to my bar. I'm like, if I move away, they can feel that it's okay to go to the Beaver again. And I can't have that. I can't
so
have
I'm going to
that.
live the rest of my life in a town I don't really want to live in anymore. Just
because
so
I can't have them showing up to my bar.
Exactly.
Well, I did move, so at least I'm not that petty. That much.
Hey, is there any cool shit that's been happening lately that we can tell the people about?
I just got back from Mexico. That's some cool ass shit.
That's cool for you.
I did some shots. I went swimming. I almost got tan.
You know what's cool? We watched a movie the other night called Nobody.
Oh, that was really good.
With Bob Odenkirk. It was so good, in fact, that we stopped it and watched it again immediately after we watched it the first time because we weren't paying enough attention.
100%.
The first time.
1,000%.
If we've referenced the Smartless podcast a few times on our podcast because it's great. It's a funny podcast. But they had Bob Odenkirk on as a guest a while back, and he was alluding to this. He kept saying that he was had been working out. He trained for the role for a year and a half. and he kept alluding to this bus scene, but he didn't want to give anything away, so he wouldn't like say too much about it. So it was fun to watch it, and then like all the puzzle pieces kind of came together.
Right.
You could see him like, I mean, he wasn't like jacked or buff, but he was
I mean,
buff.
he's pretty fucking buff.
Yeah,
I mean,
and the stunts were amazing. He did all that shit
great.
himself.
That movie, I could watch that 500 times.
Yeah, it was so good. And Christopher Lloyd was in it.
Oh, right,
He
yeah.
was also a fucking badass old man, like real old.
He's real old, and he was still kicking ass.
But yeah, highly, highly recommend that movie. It's called Nobody.
Yeah, Nobody with Bob Odenkirk.
And I think you can buy it on, was it Prime?
It's Amazon for $20. Pay the money.
Yeah, definitely give them, they deserve the $20.
Right.
Give it to them, own it, because you're going to want to watch it again.
Right. We
Real
actually
good.
probably watched it illegally, but then after we finished it, I said, well, just give them the $20.
Yeah, that might be why we watched it the second time, because we're like, well, now we have to buy it to make sure that they
Right, I want to make sure that they get paid. So, and I don't say that a lot about movies. Movies nowadays are straight up garbage.
Yeah.
But that was some good shit. And actually, in the podcast, he was telling, Jason Bateman and all those guys about like a home invasion thing, and that it was rough or whatever. And I thought that his home was actually broken into, and he kind of talked about it, but then didn't want to talk about it. But now I realize he was just talking about the movie.
No. He was
he
talking
did.
about it in real life.
Oh,
He was like,
okay.
that's what I think that's what spurned the idea for a movie.
But he didn't write it.
Well, maybe not. Or maybe it wasn't what spurned the idea, but what spurned his like
Want to be in it,
passion
maybe?
for
Yeah.
the role. Because he
Okay.
was saying that that he had a break-in home invasion in his house while he was there with his family.
Okay.
And that's what he didn't want to talk about because he was just like he's like, yeah, it fucking sucked.
Right.
That stays with you forever.
Yeah, shit. Well, so I thought maybe that he was just trying to, like, it tied in with the movie, but okay, fine. Sorry. That sucks.
Yeah. Anyways, it's like fucking
so good. So good. And then, Mandi, you watched a movie you hadn't seen before.
Yes, I did. I watched a movie, a little different genre. It's an older one, but I hadn't seen it, called Hot Rod.
It's so good. Hot Rod, you said?
Hot Rod. Andy Samberg's in it, and it's the reason I watched it finally was because Craig and Charlotte have this running joke, and they'll call each other babe, and they'll be like, babe, babe, and I just like didn't get it. And so Charlotte was in Mexico, and I was like, I'm gonna just sit around and watch a movie. And I'm watching the movie, and it's funny. It's stupid. It's like,
yeah, it's super stupid, but
you
it's
could
funny.
Imagine like Will Ferrell in it or something. He's not,
Right.
but like it's that type
He
of
should
like
be.
stupid, funny Andy Samberg movie. Lonely Island,
Right.
I'm on a boat.
Will Arnett is in it.
Yeah, the other guy from Lonely Island is his little brother.
Yeah.
Will Arnett's in it. But so I'm watching it, and I'm getting to the end, and it's like basically he's an Evel Knievel wannabe like stuntman who's not very good, and then he gets to the end where he's like been practicing and he's gonna do the big jump, and there's a band playing, and it's like AM radio's hosting it exclusively, so nobody can see anything, which is stupid and funny. And there's a band playing, and I forget the name that they gave the band, Gown or something stupid, and they all have these obvious wigs on and stupid costumes, and the music that they're playing is really dumb, and they keep going close up on them, and I was looking right at the first close up, I was like, is that guy looks really fucking familiar. And then, they pan out, show the drummer, show the bass player, and back in, and I was like, oh my god, that's Josh Homme. I was like, that's the fucking Queens of the Stone Age. Which just was like cherry on top.
Nice. Yeah. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it. It's been a few years since I've watched it, but I love that movie.
Yeah, it was funny. And then who doesn't love Queens of the Stone Age?
Right. Sure.
Idiots.
Idiot morons. Gamby, I think is his name. He passed away. That's real sad. But apparently he passed away in April. I'm on the Pee Wee Herman Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the genie from Playhouse had passed away, and that was a fucking bummer.
Yeah, totally. We're all getting old.
What? No. No. Not allowed to get old. Paul Rubens, I swear to God, he can't die.
Mm-mm.
Ever.
Have anything to repent for?
I do, but I can't remember. Turns out I drink a lot on this show.
The first sign of Alzheimer's.
And the COVID, man. Dude, I am in the middle of a conversation, like, with my client. Like, I'm telling this big, long, drawn-out story, and halfway through, like, and I haven't even taken a breath. I'll just go, what was I talking about? Like, it's awful.
It's the COVID, though, not the vaccine.
Oh, right, because now apparently we're dying from the vaccine, and we're magnetic, too. Did you see that?
That's what people keep telling me.
Did you see the lady said, and she's visibly shaking, too, so you could tell she's upset and believes what she's saying. She's like, if it's so good for you, then why am I magnetic now? And she sticks the key to her chest, and it sticks because we're sticky people. Yeah. And then she tries putting it on her neck, and it won't stick.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was awesome.
And then Mom keeps always emailing us these, like, mystery links that I never click on because I don't want a virus.
Exactly.
But, like, I'm assuming they're about what's wrong
There was one saying, good news, if you start drinking pine needle juice, you can reverse the damaging effects of the virus.
Yeah, so if it's not, like, I figured the argument would be over. It's like, okay, we got the vaccine. We're not arguing about the vaccine anymore. No, now it's just spam links on how we're going to die from getting the vaccine and how now she can help us.
Good Lord.
Very frustrating.
No, I'm good. I get the vaccine again.
Hey, speaking of QAnon, QAnon supporters, I remember last week we were talking about how funny it would be to do like a QAnon Darwin Awards thing. And so I really need a little bit more time and focus to do it properly. But there were a couple of things that were pretty funny when I was trying to Google stupid people that have...
Can this be our Darwin Award of the Week?
Oh, yeah, we could do that. Sure. So, according to the Daily Beast, there are people who are still touting the miracle benefits of hydroxychloroquine or hydroxychloroquine or however you say it to prevent them from getting COVID. So obviously they've either never had it, didn't realize they had it, or didn't have symptoms of it or whatever. And so but they can't get a hold of the drug. So there's all these QAnon people who are passing out recipes on the internet how to make your own, how to cook your own. And so
promising.
Of course, there's all these jokes about like, well, how much meth is in it? You know, 98% meth, which I thought was funny. So, QAnon Darwin Award of the Week goes to all the people who are cooking up homemade hydroxychloroquine.
Oh, good God. Yep, have fun with that.
To avoid getting a fucking, they would rather do that than get a vaccination.
But, like, even our sister is not getting vaccinated.
A lot of our friends aren't doing it.
I don't know of any.
In Bellingham, it's like
Oh, fucking hippies.
Exactly.
God damn.
Natural. Muscle testing. Crystals.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Anyways, we encourage you, listener, to go ahead and go get your vaccination. It's magical. Today was the first day in California, Orange County, California, where I could go to work and not wear a mask because I'm vaccinated, which may or may not have been a big driving force on why I wanted to get vaccinated, because I knew that shit was going to happen, but it felt weird. It felt really weird.
So I had this, to get to Mexico, I wanted to get in early in the morning, so I went the dumbest way to get there, but long story short, I won't go into why, but I need to get into Mexico at 10 a.m. and not 4:30 p.m. So I left the night before. So I get on you're in the airport, you have to wear your mask. You get on the plane, you have to wear your mask. You have your layover, you have to wear a mask. So I didn't take this into consideration, but from the time I left Santa Ana, went to Phoenix to JFK, went to JFK to Cancun, I had this mask on nonstop for like 17 hours or something stupid. And I was like, that was fucking brutal. And, I'm vaccinated, and, like, in Mexico, you kind of have to wear your mask, but they're not really enforcing it. But, like, I'm just fucking over this mask. If I wasn't vaccinated, I would totally keep wearing it to keep people safe and whatnot. But I'm like, I'm fucking vaccinated. I'm over it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm going to wear it on the airplane. So many people got kicked off. There were so many people who got met with security once they got off the plane because they refused to wear a mask. Mm-hmm. So people are just being fucking morons. Mm-hmm. I only saw it on one flight, but I was talking to somebody else who was just flying back from Texas, and she's like, yeah, no, there was people security was waiting to get these people while they got off the plane because they refused to wear a mask.
It was kind of weird today. There was I didn't actually go to my own store I usually work at. We were doing that little tour of San Diego or whatever, but there was actually, how sometimes when you walk up to somebody and you both kind of try to go the same way, and then you try to go the same way to get around each other, and you do the little dance. It was kind of one of those, but she looked like terrified, but not legitimately terrified, like overly dramatic, you don't have a mask on, stay away from me terrified. And I was like, you know what? I mean, I get that you're being fucking a very dramatic person because of this and whatever, for whatever reasons you have. But I was like, you know, I should probably make sure to just have a mask, because I wouldn't want to be in a situation where if somebody was really super uncomfortable being around me because I didn't have a mask on, I would put one on.
Oh, totally.
But I'm really, really thankful for the option to not have to wear one while I'm trying to breathe hard and do manual labor.
Right.
And it's hot and running around. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to breathe.
Yeah. I keep one in my purse, and I even say to my clients, I'm like, listen, masks are now optional. If you're vaccinated, you don't need to wear one. If you choose to keep wearing one, totally cool. And if you would like me to wear one because it makes you more comfortable, I'm also okay with that. And they're like, no. Like, I had one lady, she's like, no, I'm going to keep wearing yours, but you don't need to wear one. I was like, are you sure? Because I really don't mind putting one on if it makes you more comfortable. And she's like, no, you do you, I'll do me. And I'm like, sounds good. And then by halfway through her appointment, she's like, I'm taking this off. And I was like, good for you, girl.
Yeah, it feels weird. It felt really weird today. It was like, there was a bunch of things happening in California just this week. So it's like we've had 16 months now of wearing masks. We haven't been able to serve ourselves from any sort of like buffet style food thing or whatever. And now it's like, all of a sudden it's like, okay, as of this, yesterday we didn't know for sure if this was happening. This morning it's like, okay, masks off. The few little locations that we went to on our thing today, fully open, serve yourself food.
Wow.
You know, and it was just, and it was weird. It was cool, but it was just like, is it just like that? It's over? Like, after 16 months?
And all my nurse clients are all like, no, we just got a handle on this thing. You're going to take the masks off. Don't be an idiot. But
I was going to get to that too, because there's a variant, like a mutant variant going around. Somebody at another location of the chain that I work for in Porter Ranch got it.
Oh, shit.
So it's like around. It's happening.
God damn it.
So
were they
that
vaccinated?
into consideration too. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I could look it up though. I'll find out.
Okay. Because I was under the assumption that because people were like, you know, there's still the variant. And I'm like, yeah, and actually, you know, still be, if you feel sick, wear a fucking mask.
Oh,
that
for sure.
That should just be a thing anyways. And also just stay home. But what I was told by some of my nurse clients was that it's not actually the virus, or the vaccination wasn't for the virus itself.
You went into this.
Oh, I did last time? Okay. Yeah, that it's actually towards the crown. So technically, the protein that attaches. So technically, you know, variant should be okay. It just depends on whether that protein is now a variant too. Which of course is going to, because things like to survive. And if they're not surviving, they're going to mutate to continue to survive.
What a fucking trippy time to be alive.
Oh, Jeff Goldblum was right, man.
What did Sir Jeff say?
In Jurassic Park, he said, life finds a way.
You just set yourself up for that? No, wait, I set you up for that, and you just brought it home.
Sure did.
We should get Jeff Goldblum on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Awesome.
I know people who know people. Actually, Bridget doesn't live on his street anymore, but I had a friend who lived on his street. I technically know where he lives.
Jeff Goldblum, if you don't want us to come to your house, why don't you give us an email at fhebadmormons@gmail.com, and we won't stalk you. No promises.
He's got a red door. That's how I know it's your house, bro.
Hey, let's listen to a word from our sponsors.
Sweet.
Having problems keeping family home evening exciting and fun? Well, never fear. Tree of Life Games is here to keep your family entertained with our new board game, Hint. Similar to a game that's been around since 1948, but tailored to the good people like us, Hint is a game of murder, mystery, and deceit. The goal? Figure out who killed Joseph Smith with what weapon in what room. Was it Brigham Young with a pair of garments in the library? Was it Mitt Romney with a Book of Mormon in the conservatory? Or was it Marie Osmond with a Jell-O mold in the food storage cellar? Your family will have the time of their lives as they try to solve the mystery of Hint. That's Hint from Tree of Life Games.
Family Home Evening with Bad Mormons listeners get 10% off your first purchase. Just use the promo code BRIMLEY at checkout. It's the right thing to do and a tasty way to do it.
Hey,
Hey-o.
That was good. It's always good.
I can't wait. Mandy's got some ideas for some new commercials, so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, if you guys have any great ideas, we'd love to hear them. But we recently learned from our friend Erica, and also on a lot of the ex-Mormon groups, Facebook groups and whatnot, that plastic surgery is huge in Utah and Salt Lake City. I had no idea. It's like the #1 plastic surgery place in the world. So
Totally. Have you seen that meme of a girl's like, you can't get into heaven because you got your nose pierced, but then there's a big titty chick going like, but I'm allowed to go to heaven or whatever, and it's just like, yeah.
I like the way Erica said it when she was like, you got a little pooch from having 10 kids, and then you just got these 2 mammoth things bolted on your chest. And fish lips.
Fish lips.
So yeah, we're kicking around some ideas about plastic surgery commercials.
Yes.
I mean, we've been approached by some plastic surgery centers who would like to
advertise on our
podcast.
on our podcast.
That'll be coming soon.
We should also probably have one for ED for the
Ooh, write that down, girl. You're on fire.
ED for their polygamist fill in the blank. Like, do you have to go see wife number 4? Whatever.
You just can't keep it up.
So if you were wondering how we come up with our commercials, you're welcome. There's a sneak peek.
Actually, it's mostly our friend Courtney. Who
Yeah,
does
she's
the
great.
heavy lifting.
Every now and again, we'll just be like, we have this idea. Make it happen.
Somehow she strikes gold every
Unfortunately, she's back to work now, so it makes it harder to get shit done.
time. Well, when we're rich.
Oh,
we'll all
yeah,
get a
which is
compound
any
somewhere.
day now. That GameStop is going to go off.
Hey, do you have any stories you want to tell?
I do have a story. I was thinking about the time when I was bartending, and it was a very lucrative day for me.
Tell us about it, Charlotte.
So I was bartending, and I had the morning shift. I started at like 10. I would normally show up at around 11 because I'm the worst employee ever, and then I get off around 4. Well, so I was working, doing my side work, whatever, and one of my bartender friends who works over at the Swallows came by, and she'd come have a couple margaritas and we'd chat. And she's a Native American, and this other gentleman sits down at the bar who also happens to be Native American, and they start chatting or whatever. Like he ordered some food and 1 glass of wine, no big deal. And they're whatever. It turns out that he is one of the like board of directors for a local reservation casino that's a little bit by Palm Springs. I won't name it.
Quite popular.
It's a quite popular one.
Quite large.
Right? And not very cheap to stay at. And so we're all chatting and we're drinking and we're having fun. And normally I go to my second job afterwards, but I didn't have any clients that night. So I blocked it off so I could drink with everybody at the bar. And so we're all having a good time and whatnot. And I have no idea what happened, but he just got trashed. And I'm not saying this like we weren't doing shots, because this is normally what would happen at the bar. We'd be doing shots, or we'd be doing mind erasers, or we'd be doing something stupid. But literally, I lied. I didn't drink that day. I wasn't working afterwards. But he had only had 2, maybe 3 glasses of wine. Carmen had a few margaritas, but like I did not overserve him. And I'm not just saying that, but I really didn't. And he ate with those glasses of wine. But I think he's on some sort of medication, because he just got super friendly. And he was just like, you girls ever want to stay at the casino? I'll hook you up with rooms. And we're like, dude, thank you. That would be amazing. Like, I would love that or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
We're like, yeah, we just made a new best friend. He's like, yeah, I'm heading out to Palm Springs now, blah, blah, blah. And then, he starts slurring. And it came on just real quick. And I was just like, oh, that's weird. He just got shit-faced. And he actually falls off of his chair. And I'm just like, oh my God, like it hits his head. And I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? Or whatever. And these bar stools suck anyway. So I get him back on it.
So like from tipsy to like
just being trashed. And I'm just like, he's like, no, I'm fine. I was like, here's some water, and I got him some coffee and some water. And, he had already eaten, but I put some chips and salsa in front of him. And then he kind of seems like he's kind of coming out of it a little bit, but not a lot.
Not enough.
Not enough, right? Whatever. And he's like, you know what? You did such a good job. Here you go. He gives me $100. And I'm like, oh, I appreciate you, but I can't take that, because he's really not in the right state of mind anyways. And he's like, no, you have to take it over. And I refused it like 3 times. And Carmen just said, Charlotte, just take it. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. Thank you. That's very, very generous of you. And I really appreciate it. I put it in the tip jar. And he tries to give me another one. And I'm like, no, you can't. Anyways, turns out he's given Carmen about $400 or 600, right? It was $600. I didn't see him give her money at all.
He was like slipping it into her purse, right?
Yeah, he just kept she told me later, yeah, he just kept putting it in her purse. And she's like, Robert, stop it or whatever. And then some random dude comes up and buys a margarita. Because I wouldn't take his money. I wouldn't take the second 100. And he gives a random person buying a margarita $100, and the guy's like, no, dude, keep your money. And he's like, no, it's your lucky day. You buy a margarita, you get a free $100 or whatever. Wow. And he's just like, all right. And I'm like, well, fuck, if you're just gonna give it to random fucking customers, yeah, give me the money or whatever. So I think I got 400 out of it. No, I guess I got 300 out of it. I got 300. Carmen got 6. That one dude got 1. Because
that's expensive. That's an expensive
$1,000, right? 100%. 1,000%. Well, then what happened next was incredibly stupid. I told him he couldn't drive. I told him he had to stay. And I was calling around trying to find a hotel for him, but there was nothing open. And next thing I know, he's gone. And I'm like, oh, fuck, where is he? He gets in his car and pulls out stupid food server ran out in front of his car, made him stop.
You did, or
no, food server. I would never get in front of a moving vehicle.
Okay, good.
Yeah, especially with a drunk person. I'm like, Cynthia, I think whatever her name is. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, he can't drive. I was like, I know that, but do not get in front of a drunk driver. And she's like, whatever. So she goes and opens the door. I come around, I yank him out of it, and I jump in his truck. And then I drove around the corner and like came back up to our parking spot. Turned the car off, told him to go take a nap. I was like, you go in the car. I rolled down the windows. You're not getting these keys back until I'm going to give them to the next bartender who's coming in. Oh, this is my other favorite part of it was I worked almost an hour and a half past the end of my shift. I would have only gotten $100 had the bartender showed up to their shift on time. But because somebody was late to their shift, I got an additional $200.
That bartender is somebody you might remember, friend of the podcast.
Yeah, she's the destroyer.
Oh, I thought it was Tony.
Oh, no. It was Molly. She is a monster.
Okay, never mind. She has not been on the podcast.
She has not been on the podcast, but you'll know her as Molly the Destroyer. But yeah, because she didn't show up to her shift on time, she missed out on $200, which she was so bummed about. Anyways, the guy goes and takes a nap. She shows up. I tell her what happened. She's like, are you kidding me? And I was like, yeah, you would have had $200 if you had just shown up on time. He would have loved you. You know, she's like, fucking, because it was not only was she not like, was she late, but she called up, I was like, Molly, no. And she's like, oh, nope, not coming in, and just hung up. And I was like, fucking bitch. So like, this is just karma. So yeah, she was super bummed. I was like, well, make sure you can't give these back to him until he's sober enough to drive. And she's like, okay, no problem. So I left. I went up to our friend Mandi and Jesse's house. I had a few drinks. I was like, dude, that was stressful. Like, yeah, thanks for the money, but it was still really stressful because of him driving and just also being worried that he hit his head and that he's okay.
Wasn't there a part? I thought when Carmen was retelling the story the other day, I thought she was talking about Rolexes.
I'm getting to it.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I decided to come back down to the bar just to make sure everything was cool, you know. Plus, I didn't want to go home anyways. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go back down, make sure everything's sweet. So I come down and he's eating. And I'm like, oh, okay, look, you're eating good. And he's like, oh my God, I cannot thank you. Like, almost starts crying. I cannot thank you enough for making sure I didn't drive. I could have killed somebody. And I was like, oh yeah, man, you know, no problem. Like, it happens to the best of us. We make bad decisions, but I'm glad that you're okay.
Let me just ask you, how much time had passed from when you left him,
like sleeping,
napping in his car, to when you came back and he was like eating and
3 hours, I'd say.
Okay.
3 to 4 hours.
Trying to figure out what he was on. Trying to figure out
Right.
what drug would like instantly and then bring you back out.
Well, and here's the thing is that he seemed drunk. He seemed pretty sober when I was talking to him now. But then he's like, what can I do for you? Can I do anything for you? Like, I want to help you. And I was like, well, I probably need a new car. He's just like, he's like, I could hook you up with a lease or something like that. Not pay for it, but it's just like, I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to actually pay for a new car. I have the credit to get my own, but I just want to see if you'd want to buy me one. But then he goes to his car. He comes back. And he unrolls this thing with 4 Rolex watches on it, and they're ladies' Rolexes, and they're nice.
Shut the fuck up.
And I was just like, he's like, would you like a Rolex? They belong to my ex-wife. She's a bitch. I want you to have one. And I was just like, I'm not taking a Rolex from you, but I am going to take it for a minute to go make the bartender really jealous because it'll be really fucking funny. And so I take the prettiest one and I put it on and I go over and she's like, oh, how is he? I'm like, he's really good. He just gave me a Rolex. And I put my watch, my wrist up with the watch on. She's like, shut the fuck up. And she's so pissed. I was like, just kidding. I'm giving it back to him anyways. So when I walked back and I put it back in, you could see it in his eyes. Something had clicked. And I was just like, and he puts the Rolexes away without a word. Uh-huh. And then he takes his like, not his wallet, his Bank of America white envelope, which had all the hundreds in it, to pay for his meal, and it is empty. And he doesn't say anything, but he's pissed.
So you think he realized, like, I shouldn't be giving away Rolexes?
Something had clicked to a point where he had sometimes you just come out of a blackout, right? I think he was probably browned out at this point, and something had just clicked. I don't know what it was, but you could see the spark in his eye was back, kind of a thing. And he was just like, I was like, dude, I'm not going to take a Rolex from you, but whatever, thanks. Whereas he was super like giving and like, I want to help you kind of a thing, and thank you for helping me. He became very cold, and it was just like, bitch stole my money. And I'm like, no, I did not steal your money. I tried to get you to put your fucking money away and you wouldn't listen to me. But thank you for the money. Because it was going to be me or it was going to be random people buying margaritas. Exactly. So anyway, so that was my my casino dude story, which was so much fun. And Molly was just heartbroken. I was like, maybe you should show up to your shifts on time.
It's funny, when we go to Palm Springs, which we have been doing quite a bit the past year, right? Every time we pass that casino, I always think of that story, and I'm like, some big executive bigwig handing out $100 bills and Rolexes.
And I figured, I was like, dude, he's just got that casino money rolling. Must be nice. But yeah, when he went to go pay for his meal and that thing was empty, you could see his face was just like, what the fuck?
You gotta wonder, like, how much of it he gave away to other people that you didn't even see.
My guess is he had $1,000 on him. Because if you add it all up, Carmen, myself, and that one dude, that equals $1,000. In fact, he had an envelope from American Express, right? Because I would have seen him give it to anybody else. Now, I don't know if he does this on the regular when he gets blacked out drunk.
I want to know what kind of drug he's on. It's got to be something that, like, interacts with alcohol.
Totally. One you're not supposed to do, like a
something.
Xanax or something like that. That would be my guess. But yeah,
interesting.
I would have given the $300 back just to get free rooms and be your friend. Like,
yeah, you'd probably make out better, actually.
100%. Carmen and I actually, we both separately called, because he gave us his number. We both called him. Like, I think I called him the next day, and she called him a couple days later, and we just said, hey, I just want to make sure you got home okay and that everything, because we legit cared. Like, we weren't just trying to bleed him dry of his money. He never returned our phone calls, and it was
probably
like,
embarrassed.
Well, I would be embarrassed too, but I'm the type of person who'd just be like, I'm a fucking idiot. What did I do? Can you tell me what I did? Because I don't remember.
You're not the CEO of a profitable casino.
But again, I don't feel like this is the first time, because it wasn't, he had tops 3 glasses of wine. Right. Tops. No shots, no margaritas that I remember. It's been a while, but.
I have a story about meeting a high-powered executive as well.
Yeah?
Yes. I don't know if I'm pretty sure I've told you this story.
Is it the story about somebody from Hollywood?
It sure is.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it again.
So, I don't know if you remember. Just kidding. I know you remember my old roommate, Gregor.
I love Gregor.
The dreamiest,
He's the
hunkiest,
most handsome of handsomes.
Sexy man, sexies. Yeah, he's super dreamy. Super gay. We were roommates. Well, we were friends in San Francisco, and when I was kind of gearing up to move out to Hawaii, he was in the middle of like a big, life shift as well. So he was like, you know what? I want to go with you. Like, it's just the perfect timing. My relationship's ending. My job's ending. Like, what do I have holding me back here? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Roommate friends forever. And so we both moved out to Hawaii together, and I had been relocated with the company I work for, so I was able to just pay the deposit and the first and last month's rent and everything with the company money. So it was super easy, and then he could just come. Like, he came out 3 weeks after I did, I think.
Nice.
Anyways, we had a really good time. He lived there for about a year. I think we were roommates, and then he ended up getting a really good job and moving somewhere else. But so one of the first things that we did in Hawaii was we did a tour of all the gay bars in Waikiki,
yes.
Which was really fun. And it turns out there's like a big San Francisco, Honolulu connection, at least in like gay community.
Oh, nice.
So this bar that we used to love to go to in Waikiki called Bacchus, we found out was owned by the same people who owned this really famous bar, really fun, famous bar, gay bar in the Castro, which was like in my neighborhood in San Francisco that we used to go to all the time. And I can't believe I can't fucking remember the name of it. It's going to drive me crazy. I'll have to repent for it next week. I'll have to look it up. But it was just like such a small world connection because we felt so far away from, imagine living in the city in San Francisco to coming out to
an island,
tropical island. And so it was cool to have that connection anyways. So we did a tour of all the gay bars, and then we found this one gay bar that was our favorite called Hula's, which is still, next time we go to Honolulu, if I haven't taken you there already, I will take you because it's so fucking fun. It's like outdoor it's like all open seating.
Oh, I don't think I've been there.
And they do drag shows, they do karaoke, dance parties. Like, it's super fun. And it's like mostly male-oriented gay bar, which is totally fucking fine with me. Which is my
favorite. Yeah, I was going to say that's my jam.
But anyway, so Hula's bar right in Waikiki, right across the street from the zoo. It was one of our favorite haunts. And this one night I was getting off work and Gregor's like, okay, there's this thing that I want to do tonight. There's these people I want to meet, and I think you should come because I think it's going to be super fun. We're going to go to Hula's. He's like, and I want to tell you who it is, but I don't want you to freak out and act weird around them. Like, I want you to just be like your normal fun self. And I was like, well, now I'm going to fucking act weird because what the fuck are you talking? I'm thinking like, oh my God, is it like George Clooney or I don't know.
I was about to say Dustin Hoffman. I don't know why. It's like Dustin Hoffman.
I think I could handle Dustin Hoffman. Thank you very much. But I was like expecting some famous actor or something because like Gregor has a little bit of a past with like, you know, he's dated some actors and stuff because he's like, you know, fucking hot as shit.
Right.
And so he's like, I don't want you to act weird around him. I was like, he's like, so I'm not going to tell you. So I was like, all right, fine, whatever. And we're getting ready. And I'm like, what do I even wear? I don't know who I'm meeting. Like, what should I wear? Like normal clothes? Should I dress up? Like what? He's like, okay, this is what we're doing. Don't act weird. He's like, we're going to go meet. And I don't want to say the guy's name because I don't know if he's publicly gay or not.
Okay.
So I'm just going to call him
George.
We'll call him George. He's like the VP, executive VP for, let's just say
Warner Brothers
or something, some very large motion picture studio. And he's like, so we're going to go meet this guy. And which
is funny because you wouldn't know who this person is just by looking at them.
I would have no idea.
So he made a bigger deal.
Yeah, I would have no idea who this person is. But he's like, an executive and makes a lot of high level decisions regarding all the fucking cool shit that I love, right? So it's this guy and then an actor, who's openly gay. His name's Tim. He was on Will and Grace. So the two of them, they're not dating or anything, but they're, buddies.
They're just buddies, yeah.
And they fly out to Honolulu to hang out, and so we go to meet them at the gay bar. And I'm like, I don't know why Gregor's making such a big deal out of this. It's not like I can say the words like high-powered executive for Warner Brothers, and it doesn't really compute in my head what exactly that means, because I know, you make decisions about movies and you produce things.
You make sure the money
and,
happens. Yeah.
That's not really, he has people like 4 levels under him that are making those decisions.
Oh.
Like he's in fucking charge. Right.
Right.
And I don't really grasp it, which is probably why I was able to still act cool and be fun. But so we're hanging out at the bar, and honestly, like the bar story, there's nothing all that memorable about it. It was just a lot of fun. I remember talking to Tim a lot through the night because we had just moved from San Francisco.
And picture who Tim is on Will and Grace.
His name's Tim Bagley. He was like one of the like lesser screen time characters. He also was he's a character actor, so he's been on a ton of shit. He was in Knocked Up. He was the doctor. When you see his face, you'll be like, oh, that guy. He's been in fucking everything.
Tim Bagley?
Mm-hmm.
There he is.
But
oh, he's gay?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That guy's awesome.
And we had a really, honestly, I had a really fun connection with him. He was talking about being a gay man in San Francisco in the 80s and talking about all this cool shit. And it was just, we had a really good conversation. We had a really good connection. We had a fun time at the bar. The other guy I didn't talk to him much. What were we calling him?
George. I
didn't talk to him as much because he was super infatuated with Gregor.
Right? I would be too. Like, shut man, I'm talking to Gregor.
Exactly. But I mean, he was funny. He was like buying us all drinks all night. And like, it was, I think there might have been a little cocaine. Right. If I remember correctly. Not a lot, nothing crazy.
Not gonna melt your face off.
Yeah, it was just, we just had the funnest time. And then the two of them went to like, I don't know, get drinks or smoke a cigarette or do something. And Gregor starts telling me, he's like, so George is trying to get me to go back to Hollywood for this party this weekend. And, I don't know if I want to go. He's like, I don't really want to fuck him, but I kind of want to go to the party. And I really want to go, like, fly back with them. And I was like,
are they getting on a private jet?
Well, I was like, are they getting you a ticket? And
right.
He's like,
honey.
No, they have the jet. Like, that's when it clicked in my head. I was like, oh.
That kind of level.
Private jet money.
Right.
Holy fucking shit. And then I was like, Gregor, I'll never forget this. And he just laughed. I was like, Gregor, you take one for the team. You suck his dick and you get me on that plane because I'm going with you to the party in Hollywood. I want to fly on a private jet. And I was like, I just saw it. I was like, this is my opportunity. I'll never get one again to fly on a private jet. I was like, and because that's kind of where the conversation was going. Like, oh, you guys should come to the party, kind of offhanded. And I was like, Gregor, if you take one for the team, we can both get on the jet.
Right.
He's just like, I don't know if I want to do that. Sure. Of course, he's not the kind of guy who sucks dick to get on a private jet.
Damn you and your values, Gregor.
I can't say I would make the same decision. But
I would suck dick to get on a private jet. That's all I'm saying.
To go to a fabulous fucking...
I mean, was George attractive?
No.
Oh, that's a pity.
No. But imagine the people.
Close your eyes.
Imagine the people who would be at that party in Hollywood.
Oh, that's true. Like, I didn't even think about that. I just want to get on a fucking private jet.
I wanted that, and I wanted to go to like a celebrity party. And no, Gregor wouldn't take one for the team, so we all just stayed on a tropical paradise island and had a bunch of fun. But yeah, that was a really fun fucking night in Waikiki at the gay bar.
That's pretty fun. Mm-hmm. I would love that. I would love to get why don't we know anybody who owns a private jet? Even the most rich people I know don't have private jets.
I know, that's like some serious money.
Because that shit is so expensive.
Yeah, that's like Drake money.
Right.
That's like Darnell Valentine. Darnell
Valentine. Like, damn it. I should have. So when I was in Mexico, I was, since these are all the same people that I saw in Fort Lauderdale for that trip, I was like, oh, hey, did I tell you guys about the guy who offered for me and Christine to go on the yacht? People were like, yeah, kind of, or whatever. I was like, so it turns out it was an NBA player named Darnell Valentine. And then Leslie's husband was like, Darnell Valentine? I'm like, oh, shit. Here it goes.
I'm an asshole.
He's like, you should have went on that yacht. I was like, doesn't mean he's not a human trafficker. Could be.
Yeah, George from Warner Brothers Pictures, he could have been trying to human traffic me onto that private jet.
To L.A.
Or human traffic Gregor onto that private
Yeah,
jet.
come on, let's get real. It's like, Mandy, you would have been like, okay, your friend can come, but
exactly.
We need to go.
Hey, I absolutely knew that from the beginning of our double date.
Come on, Tim, we're best friends now.
Me and Tim are on a date, and you and George are on a date. And that's cool with all of us.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, it's my new plan. I'm manifesting us to get on a private jet. I don't care how. I don't know when. I'm gonna make this shit y'all gonna make this happen.
Listeners, if you have a private jet, why don't you reach out to us at fhegbadmormons@gmail.com.
I don't care if it's from John Wayne Airport to LAX. I just want to get on your private jet.
I don't care if I'm going from John Wayne to Long Beach. Get me on the fucking jet.
That is just enough time for a cocktail, but they won't take you home. They're like, okay, we'll do it, but you gotta Uber back home.
Hey, if you're enjoying our podcast, why don't you go ahead and leave us a review on
Help
Apple
people
Podcasts.
Find us.
And, oh, hey, we got 52 subscribers on our YouTube.
Shit, yeah. Oh, was I supposed to do something at 50?
Probably.
Somebody either remind me of what it was that I said that I would do at 50, or I'm not doing it.
Reach out to us on the social medias and let us know what Charlotte promised to do at 50 subscribers.
You could do it on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest,
TikTok.
Fill in the
I was
blank.
trying to think of like MySpace, Friendster,
LinkedIn.
Friendster. And once again, shout out to our
Thanks,
fucking sweet-ass
patrons.
patrons. And happy birthday, Deborah.
Happy birthday.
Check out our website.
Yeah, FHEBadmormons.com.
I updated a little. I put in a new picture at the bottom of the page for our 100K anniversary. And with that, we're going to finish drinking this delicious bottle of Papillon
Hey,
in celebration.
cheers to not blacking out this episode. Good job.
And cheers to 100,000
100
plays
fucking thousand plays. Thanks, dogs.
of Family Home Evening.